So, guns in classrooms. I really can't believe that we even have to have this discussion. But we are. Um, and there's arguments, I guess, on both sides, which is amazing to me. But here's here's what I think. As a high school teacher, I'm in my 11th year teaching high school in San Antonio, Texas. Um, and as I've said on other formats, um, there is, uh, we have to have people in this country that have a better answer to our violence with firearms issue than to say more firearms. There has to be a better answer. And I've had people imply to me that because I happen to be single with no kids of my own, that I don't have an understanding of what it means to keep kids safe, or a innate desire to keep kids safe because I don't happen to have a son or daughter of my own. I have rarely felt that angry when that was said to me. So, do I have all the solutions to the violence issue? I do not. I have ideas that I think would work, and I have mentioned those ideas in other formats. And I'll post a link to my blog at the end of this video and in the description. But look, teachers, at least the vast majority of us, are there to educate kids and to give them a place to come from morning until afternoon that is safe, that is accepting, and that is a place where they can feel comfortable. And they may not feel comfortable at any other time. If they get to campus at 8 o'clock in the morning and they leave at 4 in the afternoon, they're there for 8 hours. The other 16 hours of the day, they may not eat. They may not know where their father is or their mother. Or if they do know, they may be in jail. They may not have a home. They may not know where they're going to sleep that night. They may be surrounded by violence and guns at their house or in their neighborhood. They may hear gunshots on a nightly basis. So to think that having more guns on campus is a good idea is fucking ludicrous. A lot of these kids, particularly in inner city schools, are surrounded by it. This has to be a sanctuary. It has to be a place where they feel safe, and if there's more guns on campus, they will not feel safe. And that is a fact. The school I teach at has over 200 teachers. President Trump, yesterday or today, I don't know which one, mentioned something about, if 20% of the teachers were armed, that would be a deterrent for anybody wanting to come in and inflict harm. 20% of over 200 is over 40 people. Is over 40 people being armed, and that would be over 40 firearms, 40 things that are specifically meant to kill other people and to inflict harm. 40. And there's campuses that are that's bigger than mine. That is 40 other opportunities for something to go wrong. I don't care how well trained they are. And these are trained teachers. I've got colleagues, I love them to death. God bless them. But I have colleagues that can't run the coffee machine. I don't care how much training they go through. They will not be able to properly maintain and react in a stressful situation appropriately. And even if you can find 20% of teachers that got into the business to educate young people willing to do this, for military whatever, it cannot be a one-day class. I saw an article that a school district saying they're going to give them a 24-hour class. Seriously? 24-hour class. So it cannot be, this can't be the answer. And it is, and I, believe me, we had a lockdown yesterday at my school. There was an incident off campus. We happened to be located just across the street from a shopping mall. There was some kind of incident over there. The guy started running our direction. The police were in communication with the administration, so we went on lockdown. I understand keeping kids safe. The first thing I did, I was on duty in the cafeteria that kind of adjoined the gym. So the first thing I did, as the kids were going to the gym, I walked outside to make sure there were no kids left outside in the courtyard and between the buildings, and made sure everybody outside was getting inside. I understand, and I will keep kids safe, and I will sacrifice my own well-being to make sure that happens. And I say that unequivocally. And I don't care what kind of safeguards you have, whether it's keeping the firearm in a classroom in some kind of secure lockbox, with a fingerprint authentication to get into it, all that stuff like that. Or God forbid, if the teacher was actually walking around with a pistol on their hip. It's not the solution. It can't be. And listen to the kids. The majority of the kids that you talk to know this is not a good idea. White-collar kids, affluent kids, inner-city kids, kids from broken families, kids from wealthy families. It crosses everything. And they want to come in and they want to have a place where they will be accepted for who they are and not have to worry about anything other than continuing their education. Final thought. If it were to come to the point where there is some kind of mandate from the government or some kind of mandate from the district, the teachers, even if they weren't themselves armed, but they had to go through some kind of training to be a first responder, beyond doing what we know how to do instinctually to keep them safe, I would resign. Even if I didn't have to go through the training myself, and if it came to the point where 40 of my colleagues on this campus were armed, I would resign. And I would find a different profession or a different location that didn't have that requirement. It is ludicrous. There are other solutions. The solution to the drug problem is not to put more drugs on these streets. More guns cannot be the answer. It can't be. We have to be better than that.